on. There we go. Well, Dave Cummings, how are you, sir?
I'm great.
Welcome to Wichita, Kansas.
Thank you.
Now, talk to me a little bit about what you did today with this seminar.
Well, we still went 2 hours.
A little bit of everybody.
Yeah, we went to a 2-hour seminar, mostly focusing on elbows and clinch work, a little bit of advanced clinching, and misdirection with the elbows, ways to block the elbows, and also effective ways to hit with the elbows.
That's awesome. So, what is the one thing that when people do Muay Thai that they are missing? Is it the elbows? Is it the clinching? What is the?
I think it really depends on Muay Thai where in the world. I mean, if you go to Thailand, they're probably not missing much of anything because they start at 5, and by the time they're 20, they've already had 200 professional fights. So they're already very developed. Where in the rest of the world, we're still kind of catching up. A lot of people in the United States, for example, are crossovers that maybe did jiu-jitsu or karate or something, or maybe even boxing first, and they're trying to transition into that world. And it's a lot more difficult learning to teach an old dog new tricks versus starting with the right tricks from the beginning.
Now, talk to me a little bit about some of these kicks you were doing with the shins, and why are people missing that when you train modern Muay Thai here in the United States?
I think most people condition their shins wrong, and YouTube's kind of not somebody's friend when it comes to the right way to train your shins. You see people kicking trees, and look, in Thailand they don't really kick trees. That's all for YouTube.
That's a Van Damme thing.
Yeah. It's and hitting their shins with bats and so forth. The right way to do it is Thai pads and through lots of sparring and conditioning drills. I have no feeling from the knees down, but it took 4 or 5 years. There's nothing there. It took 4 or 5 years of real Muay Thai fighting before I stopped feeling anything there. But now that it's like that, I feel like I'm carrying weapons on my body. And so, that's something. When I came back from Thailand, I won 28 fights straight in the U.S. because I was fighting these converted karate guys that had no clue how to block a low kick.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Okay. Don Wilson, Benny Urquidez, all these guys, Rick Rufus. All these guys in the 80s.
Right.
They're wearing their gi pants. And they're kicking. Talk to me a little bit about why a guy like you can come over here and go through these guys like a hot knife through butter.
Well, first of all, I respect all those guys you mentioned very much, and they're all dear friends of mine. But, they just went a little bit different route. Don Wilson had a really good celebrity name, so he was really able to choose what type of fights he had. And I'm not saying he didn't fight tough guys, but he didn't fight a lot of elbow fights or fight a lot of fights in the stadiums and places like that because, he was really able to pick who he fought. And he definitely didn't cherry pick opponents, but he definitely got to fight within his rules quite a bit. Rick Rufus, the same. When he did his first Muay Thai fight, had both legs broken against Champut Kietsandrik. Now, to Rick's credit, he went and trained and learned how to low kick and started fighting K1 and did very well. It was a second career for him after his full contact career. Benny's an animal on his own, and Benny fought everybody. They changed rules because Benny was doing judo throws. They said, no, you can't do that. When I went to Japan, everybody said, 2 people, Benny Urquidez and Maurice Smith. So, and Benny actually came to my gym in Puerto Rico to visit me.
That's cool.
I have a lot of respect for those guys, but I took a bit of a different route. The reason why you see the skull and crossbones is my trainer.
I love your logo.
Thank you. My trainer would send us around the world, and a lot of times we would go by ourselves. So I consider myself kind of as a pirate, invading their lands. And I liked the fact that when I would get a call, I didn't even know what rules I was going to fight. It was first, where's it at? How much money is it paying, and who am I fighting? And then it was what rules. And sometimes we didn't know the rules till we got there. So I did bare knuckle fights, I did Muay Thai, I did shoot boxing, I did San Shao, I did no holds barred before MMA. So with all these crazy rules, it really helped me develop into what I think is more of a complete martial artist.
That's awesome.
Than staying with just the above the waist kickboxing.
That's awesome. So talk to me a little bit about your gym in Puerto Rico and some of the other things that you're
Well, the gym is now closed. Hurricane Maria last year left us with about 8 foot of water. And we had 250 students, celebrity clientele that, we had Playboy Playmate, we had Katrina Law from The Oath and Spartacus, JJ Soria, a lot of people coming out of the gym like 50 Cent. But in one night, it was all gone. So now I'm back stateside. I've been traveling around doing a lot of seminars, and right now I'm basically focusing on only pros, but I am training a handful of pro fighters, and including Jeremy Spoon for the next Bellator.
Yeah. So how do you adapt going from Muay Thai to MMA when you're teaching?
Well, to me, it's just logical. You know, I've been doing groundwork for over 20 years, and so, you know, I'm always looking at where one technique can lead into another technique and where it will get me into trouble if I make a wrong step. And I just try to give that same knowledge to my fighters.
That's cool.
And if you can just kind of take away all the weaknesses, it only leaves you with strengths.
That's awesome.
And, you know, I'm very proud of the fact that I think I've had 2 of my MMA fighters submitted in the last 10 years. And as many of the guys of mine have fought, that's pretty good considering I'm a Muay Thai guy.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm pretty proud of that.
Now, we're, of course, doing this on Facebook Live.
Okay.
So we have a viewer who's asked a question.
Sure.
Shannon Rich wants to know, did you ever fight Lethway?
I did. I did fight Lethway. The interesting thing about Lethway is you can't win a decision. You can only win by knockout or it's a draw. I was not savvy to the headbutts, so I got a big cut up under my chin.
Oh, really?
But, yeah, I don't know if you can still see it, but you could see the bone through my chin. But I did end up winning by knockout. I kicked and broke the guy's arm. He reached down for the low kick block. But yes, I only had one fight under those rules, but it was very intense.
That's awesome.
Hi, Shannon.
But before we let you go, if people want to find you online, bring you in for seminars, whatever, how do they do that?
They can find me on the Thunder Muay Thai page, or they can find me under Junior Cummings on Facebook, and I'd be happy to go anywhere, and I'd love to share my knowledge.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.